Let's have some more news. Villager caught improperly operating a street legal golf cart winds up behind bars. A villa in the Villages will have to be repainted after a botched job. Sheriff's office nearly doubles number of tickets written in the Villages. A restaurant will be open soon. It'll be the pride of the new golf club in the Villages. A Walmart shoplifting suspect apprehended in a golf cart at Stonecrest Pool. A garbage truck worker killed in a mishap at Spruce Creek South. A Mexican native arrested on felony driving charge at a gate in the Villages. A hoarding son won't be prosecuted for alleged abuse of his mother. Officials are demanding accountability for costly deterioration of the golf courses in the Villages. A villager allegedly shoves his wife of 50 years out of a golf cart. The villager declares that the sign on his golf cart in the driveway is protected free speech. How many holes in ones of golf did we get this week? Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. This week's news is brought to you by my Patreon and YouTube members. Thanks, guys. You're the best. Let's have some more news. I got some updates here. I want to do them real quick to get you caught up on some of the past cases there are, arrests and things like that. A villager annoyed by heavy golf cart traffic has struck out in his request for signage. Robert Linker of the village of Winterford estimated up to 1,800 golf carts per day are buzzing by his home using a popular cut-through route through his neighborhood. He had hoped that signs would be put up, instructing golf cart drivers to stay on the multimodal rather than cutting through Winterford. Linker said Kingston Way, the street that runs in front of the Winterford Postal Station and pool, has become a multimodal superhighway. Linker, who bought his house on Laurel Lane in 2015, had sought help from the Community Development District 5 Board of Supervisors, but was directed to the Project-Wide Advisory Committee, which oversees common infrastructure south of County Road 466. It was estimated that each of the two signs requested by Linker would cost about $1,200, including installation and decorative posts. However, PWAC members agreed the signs likely would be a futile effort, as the Winterford cut-through is well known and the multimodal path requires golf carts to travel through two tunnels, traveling back and forth from Buena Vista Boulevard. I don't think signs are going to solve the problem, said PWAC Chairman Don Brozick. People will figure out the quickest way to get there and to get back. And he's correct. Here's an update on the attorney that was arrested on a DWI, I believe at Wawa, about a month or so ago. Prevish Bobby Rumala, 54, of Ocala criminal defense attorney, was allowed early this month to enter a pretrial intervention contract, which would enable him to escape prosecution in the case. Terms of the contract call for him to seek help from the Florida Lawyers Assistance Alcohol Abuse Treatment Program and not consume alcohol. He must also perform 20 hours of community service without the opportunity to buy out of the service and write a letter of apology to a female police officer. Here's an update on a complaint. I believe it was last week's news. A villager has declared a sign on his golf cart in his driveway is protected free speech. David Reichert, who lives at 2800 Day Lily Run in the village of Duval, appeared Thursday morning before the Community Development District 7 Board of Supervisors at Seabreeze Recreation Center. He was clearly rankled? New word for me. He was clearly rankled by what his neighbors said about him a month earlier before the same governmental body. None of those neighbors were at Thursday's meeting. Riker said he has posted about 1,200 messages since 2020 on a whiteboard leaned up against his golf cart. He declined to elaborate on the messages, only to say some of the left may have found them offensive. In the March meeting, neighbors said they found the messages offensive and said they had asked Riker to stop displaying the sign. He refused. Riker claims he checked with community centers before he began displaying the sign. He said community centers gave him the green light. My compliance ended abruptly after your last minute, Riker told the CDD 7 board members. I thought I had been a good boy. The board did not formally respond to Riker, but indicated the matter might be included on the May board meeting agenda. And he may be totally correct. I don't know. This guy's been in the news for the last couple of weeks. Sex offender. A convicted sex offender who has been living for the past few years with his mother in the villages is being sent back to the jurisdiction of his original crime. Edward Charles Worthingly, 63, was arrested Tuesday night at 1312 La Estrelita Way in the village of Santiago on an Orange County warrant charging him with violating his probation on the charge of lewd and lascivious molestation. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center where he is being held without bond pending extradition back to Orange County. And that's his update. Remember the kid that, and I don't remember the whole story, my memory is short, it's been a few months ago, he had a girlfriend, I think, that was seeing another guy that worked for the villages, got into an argument, got arrested, so that middle of the night, he went to her car, climbed up on top of the car, excuse me for laughing, and he took a big dump on top of her car. And I remember one of my subscribers made a comment about it being a dump truck. That was funny. Maybe it was a little truck she had, whatever it was. And they got him on camera doing it, so they arrested him for that. He's back in the news again. A resident with a criminal history of tormenting an executive in the villages has forfeited his bond in an unrelated drunk driving case. A notice of bond forfeiture was filed earlier this month in Marion County after 31-year-old Jeremy Robert Powell of the village of Sable Chase failed to show up for a mandatory appearance. He was involved in a crash in the wee hours of January 26 near Mulberry Grove Plaza. Powell's black Kia was found in the center of the median of the roadway. It appeared Powell had been drinking. He refused to participate in field sobriety exercises and would not provide a breath sample. He was arrested on charge of driving under the influence and released after posting a $1,000 bond. There's his latest arrest. And we're back to the hoarder. Remember, mom went in front of the committee and said she needed time. She didn't have any money, didn't have even enough money to buy medicine, said her son wanted to kill her because then he could sell the house, and then he was hoping to move to Brazil or something. You guys remember all that? Well, if not, go back and watch it, because this case to me made a turn. You never know who's lying, who's making up a story, who's really got a mental problem. You never know. It's just words we're reading, but we don't know actual facts. A son who's hoarding has become notorious in the villages won't be prosecuted for allegedly abusing his mother. The state attorney's office has announced no information will be filed with regard to a charge of elder abuse, which had been faced by 37-year-old Jeffrey Charles Packard following his arrest on March 11th by Sumter County Sheriff's deputies. Packard's mother had summoned law enforcement to her home at 1889 Wildwood Loop in the village of Sunset Point. She claimed her son had drained her bank account to buy drugs. Drugs and ammunition were found at the home. The state attorney's office has announced that no information will be filed with regard to the charge of elder abuse. The prosecutor's office had been unable to contact Barbara Packard, and a subpoena, which had been issued, came back unserved. There's your latest update on that nightmare. Okay, let's get on with some new news. A villager improperly operating a street legal golf cart wound up behind bars. David Lee Frank, 63, of the village of Lake Denham, was driving a golf cart designated as a low-speed vehicle shortly before noon Wednesday on Megason Road near the village of Citrus Grove Postal Station. An officer who was monitoring traffic using stationary laser speed measurement device noticed that Frank's low-speed vehicle, which was traveling in a golf cart lane along Megason Road, that's a no-no, passed a golf cart and reached speeds of 25 miles per hour. The officer ordered Frank to pull over. The Michigan native demanded to know why he was being stopped. The officer pointed out to Frank, and this is going to surprise a lot of people, the officer pointed out to Frank that he had been traveling 25 miles per hour. Frank pointed to his license plate and said his golf cart was classified as a low-speed vehicle, also known as a street legal. However, the officer reminded Frank that a low-speed vehicle is prohibited from traveling in the golf cart lane. Frank was asked for his driver's license, but he offered the police officer a Florida identification card. The officer conducted a records check that found that Frank's license was suspended in 2019 after he was convicted of driving under the influence in Santa Rosa County, which is located in the Florida Panhandle. Frank was arrested on a charge of driving while license suspended for DUI. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $2,500 bond. Common sense prevailed after a complaint about a 20-year-old driveway extension at a home in the Villages. The home of Salvatore and Sandra Rosa at 3163 Southern Trace in the village of Polo Ridge was the subject of a public hearing Friday morning before a Community Development District 3 Board of Supervisors at Savannah Center. The home was built in 2001. The Rosas bought the home in 2004. With the driveway extension already in place, the couple had no idea the driveway was not in compliance. A complaint about the driveway was received September 19th by Community Standards. The Rosas attempted to submit a retroactive application to the Architectural Review Committee, but their application was denied. During the hearing, there was plenty of sympathy for the homeowner. In 2023, the CDD3 board approved a 12-year-old driveway extension at another home on Southern Trace. Where's the common sense? Asked Supervisor Terry Biddle. You're talking about something that's been here for 20 years. The board unanimously agreed to allow the driveway to remain at the Rosas' home. Now, let me say this, and I don't know the bottom line here, but I know what I would do if I was considering buying this home, knowing this report. If you buy this home, just because the supervisors agreed to let the driveway remain with this homeowner, doesn't mean that that applies to the next homeowner. Make sure you know what you're getting into when you buy these homes. A villa in the Villages will have to be repainted after a botched job. The home at 1326 Balboa Court in the San Pedro Villas was the subject of deed compliance violations Friday morning before the Community Development District 1 Board of Supervisors. San Pedro Villas. Seems to me I went through there once a long time ago before Lake Sumter was built. Pretty nice neighborhood. I kind of liked it if I remember right. A complaint received January 24 by Community Standards indicating that the home was painted multiple colors, according to the testimony presented in the hearing. I've mentioned this. Here, we're allowed two colors on your house, the basic color of the house and the trim. That's it. And when I did a bunch of home tours down in the Finney area when they first started building that, I happened to notice that there was three colors on the homes down there. And I said, this is new. You have to get approval for these kinds of things. I just can't paint the trim on my house three different colors. Not in District 10, not without getting ARC's approval to do that, which seriously, I would doubt that I would get it, but I might because they've set precedent down in those districts. All the painting doesn't match. It's actually three different colors, said Matt Armstrong, head of the resident services. The home has been owned since 1993 by Patricia Schaefer. Her son has been living there, and since the complaint was made, has been the primary point of contact with Community Standards. He said the villa had been recently painted, but claimed the paint had faded. During a follow-up visit, he told Community Standards not to call or come on the property. Neither or his mother appeared at Friday's hearings. Bad move. That's going to cost your mom. Supervisor Kathy Porter said it appeared the paint was at fault. Whoever was hired to do the work messed it up, she said. The board agreed to give the homeowner 45 days to repaint the home. If the home is not repainted, a $150 fine will be imposed, as well as a $50 daily fines until the home is brought back into compliance. The Sumter County Sheriff's Office nearly doubled the number of tickets written during the first quarter of 2024 in the villages. Captain Robert Seimer, who serves as district commander in the villages, presented traffic statistics Friday morning before Community Development District Boards of Supervisors during meetings at Savannah Center. In the first quarter of the year, 1,326 citations were written in the villages. The number usually runs around 700. Seimer said overtime details have been assigned to problem areas, including Morris Boulevard north of County Road 466. And that is a big problem there. And from what I'm seeing and what I'm reading and what people are telling me, they got a couple major problems south of 44. Community Development District 1 Supervisor Bill Janice said the efforts appeared to be paying off. He said extra patrols and speed limit signs are slowing down much of the traffic. It's working, Janice said. Simon also reported the following statistics for the first quarter of 2024 in the Sumter County portion of the villages. I find this shocking. 342 car crashes, 29 golf cart citations, 54 golf car crashes. He said those numbers are about average. I would never have dreamed there would be that many crashes inside a retirement community. I don't think I'm getting my message through. Okay, listen up. Those of you that like to come to a retirement community with your head up your keister, even after all my warnings, you know, at the end of my videos, I always say, make a little comment about don't leave your keys in the golf cart. Now, I'm not talking necessarily the golf cart, even though I am. I'm trying to give you a point. Be aware. I'm starting to throw that in there once in a while. Be aware. I don't care if this is a retirement community. We're open to the public. Half these sexual offenders, half of these thieves, half of these federal newly released prisoners, they live around the villages and they can walk in and out of here anytime they want, and they do. Law enforcement is warning of smash and grab car burglaries taking place in the area, including the villages. Captain Robert Seimer, district commander in the villages for the Sumter County Sheriff's Office, issued a warning in appearances Friday before 3 community development district boards in meetings at Savannah Center. The thieves who are from out of the area are targeting vehicles in parking lots. Specifically, they want purses and wallets from which they can extract driver's licenses and checkbooks. Those items are taken to faraway counties where the identification is used to set up bogus accounts and cash checks. Simon said your best defense is not to leave your purse. Let me repeat it. Simon said your best defense is not to leave your purse or your valuables in your car. I feel better. Take those items with you. If you must leave those items in your car, it's best to put them in the trunk. And every police officer I've ever talked to said most of these car burglaries is because of people leaving stuff in the front seat or on the dash where you can plainly see it. Take it with you. Put it in the trunk. That's a good idea. Put it in the trunk. They may be able to get in there, but they're going to have to work at it. You know, if you ever have a question about what do I do to protect myself in whatever situation, I find that most police officers are more than glad to talk to you. I don't know why people just won't talk to the police officers more. I really enjoy talking to them. They will give you more information than you ever asked for. And it's good, solid information. Like they were showing me why I should not put windows in my garage door. And once he showed me why I shouldn't and give me a little demonstration of why I shouldn't, then there was also conversation about if I do put windows in the garage door, here's what else you can do. That was an eye-opener to me because I had never thought about it, and I even put out a video about it. So ask your local police officer questions. They'll talk to you. A new restaurant will be a point of pride at a soon-to-open golf club in the villages. Boucher's Bar and Grill will be located in the new Shallow Creek Golf Club in the village of Moultrie Creek. And you can see that back here. The green and gold collared restaurant will salute the boosters who for many years have supported the athletic programs in the village's charter school. Brisk progress is being made at the construction site. It is expected to open in late spring or early summer 2024. I know people are always saying, how can they get that stuff built that quick? There's no way. Yes way. I'm telling you. They can build things here quite fast. And then the other questions are, doesn't that hurt the construction quality of things? I suppose it could, and in some cases, maybe it did, but in most cases, not really. An 81-year-old villager was arrested after a fender bender at Pinellas Plaza. John Joseph Marshall of the village of Fernandina was driving a vehicle shortly before 7 p.m. Saturday when he hit a car owned by a woman who was shopping inside the Winn-Dixie grocery store. It appeared Marshall was going to drive away, but bystanders intervened and insisted he stay until law enforcement arrived on the scene. One of the witnesses told police it appeared Marshall might be intoxicated. An officer spoke with Marshall, who initially denied he had been drinking. He later said he had consumed a Mike Black Cherry alcoholic beverage. The officer noticed that Marshall was very unsteady. Marshall was invited to participate in field sobriety exercises, but he had trouble understanding the instructions despite several explanations. He provided breath samples that registered 0.195, 0.181 blood alcohol content. You realize when they do an alcohol appraisal of you and they say walk the white line or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. They say specific things, and generally the officer will show you exactly what he wants you to do. They'll say heel to toe, not walk, heel to toe. They'll tell you take 9 steps, turn left on your left foot, take 9 steps. And that's part of the test. They're watching that. Did you take 9 steps? Did you do heel to toe? Did you turn to the left? You drink and get caught. Put that in your little memory bank up there. He was arrested on a charge of driving under the influence. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $500 bond. Here's a little report from our friendly 55-plus community next door, Stonecrest. A Walmart shoplifter suspect was apprehended in a golf cart at the community pool at Stonecrest. Natalie Nicole Martin, 25 of Weirsdale, entered the Summerfield store Sunday night and attempted to leave with $70.90 worth of merchandise for which she did not pay. Martin was stopped by store personnel and escorted to the Asset Protection Office. When Martin was questioned, she fled the office, got into a golf cart, and sped off in the direction of Stonecrest. A deputy later spotted the golf cart at the Stonecrest community pool. Martin refused to comply with the deputy's request that she put her hands behind her back to be handcuffed. The deputy escorted her to the ground and handcuffed Martin. She was found to be in possession of methamphetamine as well as a grinder containing a small amount of marijuana. When she was being booked at the Marion County Jail, Martin was found to be in possession of an additional bag of methamphetamine. Ooh, another charge. She was booked on multiple charges, including retail theft and drug possession. The bond was set at $6,100. Now, to be fair, it doesn't say she was a resident of Stonecrest, but she was there. Took a golf cart and was there. So she might have been visiting somebody. I don't know much about Stonecrest and what the rules allow there, what it don't allow. Is she a renter? Is she a mommy's girl living with mommy there? Do they allow that there? I don't know that. So those of you at Stonecrest, if you watch this, put a comment below. Let us know. Do you know about a little bit of update on this little young lady? Does she live there? Do you have the same problems we have here in the villages? And we have numerous problems. A Village of Chitty Chatty man has been charged with pursuing a fraudulent workers' compensation claim against his former employer. Gregory Fred Gargula, 74, was arrested earlier this month on a warrant charging him with felony fraud. The Detroit native was working for Carpet One at La Plaza Grande in the Villages when he visited an urgent care clinic in the Villages on February 1, 2020, complaining of shoulder and back pain. Gargula set up several appointments and visits regarding his alleged injuries he sustained to his back and left shoulder without notifying or getting the treatments approved from Carpet One's workers' compensation carrier, Frank Winston Crum Insurance. The owner of Carpet One also indicated that Gargula had not been assigned any work that would have caused these injuries. During a sworn deposition, Gargula allegedly committed perjury when he was asked if he had received any other source of income other than his Social Security after claiming being injured at Carpet One. He said he had no other income. He was later discovered that Gargula was working for and being paid by Oscar Quality Paint LLC, the report said. The insurance company is seeking $17,466 in restitution. In December 2020, Gargula allegedly damaged the paint on a 2018 Tesla owned by his former boss. I vaguely remember that story. Cargula was caught on camera pouring a liquid on the high-end electric vehicle while it was parked at Carpet One at 940 Bachara Boulevard at La Plaza Grande, according to the arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department. The substance eroded the paint on the back of the vehicle and the bumper. At the time, Cargula was described as a disgruntled employee. You think? He was arrested on a charge of criminal mischief, but the charge was dropped after Cargula completed 4 hours of anger management and paid $1,580 in restitution for repair of the damaged vehicle. 2017, Cargula was arrested after striking his wife at their home in the village of Hadley. He was sentenced to 1 year probation, but was jailed again later that same year after violating the terms of probation by continuing to use alcohol, having contact with his wife, and failing to complete a batterer's intervention program. After the probation violation, he was sentenced to 2 months and 29 days in jail. Mr. Cargula seems to have a problem. Here's another sad report from Spruce Creek South. A garbage truck worker was killed in a mishap Tuesday morning at Spruce Creek South. The 25-year-old Ocala man was near the truck loading garbage when he was struck by a tire at about 9 a.m. during garbage collection in the residential area of the community in Summerfield, according to the accident report from the Florida Highway Patrol. The worker was pronounced dead at the scene by Marion County Fire and Rescue. The driver of the truck was identified as a 63-year-old Ocala man. The incident remains under investigation. Wow, that's sad. Struck by a tire. I can only assume he was loading the tire on the back of a garbage truck. We all know how they work, right? I'm assuming it's the normal type garbage truck. And then what? Did it fall out and then hit him? I don't know. Sad. 20-some years old. Had his whole life to live. A native of Mexico was arrested on a felony driving charge near the entrance gate in the Villages. Ruben Rodriguez Arellano, 57 of Lady Lake, was at the wheel of a silver 2005 Chevrolet Silverado at 9:50 a.m. Friday near the entrance of the village of Santo Domingo off El Camino Real when he was pulled over by the Sumter County Sheriff's deputy. During a traffic stop, the deputy discovered that Arellano has a suspended driver's license and has been convicted of driving while license suspended 4 times: 2007, 2009, 2014, and 2024. He was arrested on a felony charge of driving while license suspended. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $1,000 bond. Seems like people with no driver's license or driving while license are suspended in Florida. It just seems like nobody cares. A wife was arrested after allegedly attacking her husband who was playing on his computer. Karen Stiley, 65, was arrested Tuesday evening at her Summerfield home on a charge of domestic battery. Stiley and her husband, who had been married since 2017, were arguing over his computer usage. She began to grab at him and took hold of his forearm. He attempted to separate himself from Stiley, but she continued to grab at him. He called 911. She admitted to deputies that she had grabbed at her husband. She said she was mad. She was taken into custody and booked at the Marion County Jail, where she was initially held without bond. Officials are demanding that someone be held accountable for the costly deterioration of golf courses in the Villages. Community Development District 7 Supervisor Ed Coleman said he fears that $11 million in renovations for Executive Golf Course could be the tip of the iceberg. The Amenity Authority Committee will be spending $4.56 million for renovations of courses, while the project-wide advisory committee will be spending another $7 million of residents' amenity money for course renovation. That's a pretty good chunk of money, and that's not the end, Coleman said. He said the poor practices and inadequate oversight that created the atrocious golf course conditions have not been addressed. Oh, maybe that's the internal deed restriction of the developer, he said sarcastically. There's no accountability for any of this, whether it was a contractor who did not perform as they were supposed to, or if it was a manager, Coleman said. He mocked golf officials who have tried to blame the deterioration of the courses on the weather. It was not an act of God. It wasn't El Nino, Coleman said. Supervisor Steve Lapp agreed. That weather excuse is garbage, Lapp said. He pointed a finger of blame at Director of Executive Golf Maintenance Mitch Linninger. Mitch should have been out on those courses at least once a week, Lapp said. This did not happen overnight. Supervisor Dale Klinkle said residents are extremely angry about the terrible conditions of golf courses. It is the number one talk in the community, Klinkle said. The CDD7 supervisors also questioned the addition of a new assistant golf course manager position to the budget. CDD7 Chairman Jerry Vicente traced the spending decisions back to the removal of the cap on amenity fees paid by residents. Amen to that. I always thought that was a bad decision, but it is what it is. That gave them carte blanche to spend money, Vicente said. They spend our money freely. And may I say in this news report, or any news report, if you agree or disagree with any of the news that I'm reading, remember, I'm reading it, I don't make it up, then leave a comment below. Give us your opinion about golf courses, maintenance, and whatever. Remember, you're the one thinking about moving here. Some of you are. You're the one thinking about spending $500,000 on a house down here, so know what you're getting into. A villager was arrested after allegedly shoving his wife of 50 years out of a golf cart. Was it moving? Jerry Delaire, 68, of the village of Lake Denham, was booked Wednesday night at the Sumter County Detention Center on a felony charge of aggravated battery of a person over the age of 65. He was initially held without bond. The Manchester, New Hampshire native was extremely intoxicated when he slammed on the brakes of his golf cart in the 4700 block of Megason Road, according to the arrest report. A witness told police that Delaire shoved his wife out of the golf cart. The witness said that Delaire had also struck his wife in the head. Delaire became extremely aggressive when he was placed in the back of a patrol car and called out to his wife. "I am going to kill you for this," he shouted. That's it. Keep talking. Give them more evidence to put you in jail. A moped-riding villager was arrested while allegedly high on cocaine. Brian Jamie Bowers, 46, who lives at 2837 Grant Way in the village of Belvedere, was riding a beige color moped late Wednesday afternoon traveling eastbound on County Road 466 when he made a turn onto Belvedere Boulevard. I don't believe mopeds are allowed to be on 466. I don't believe. A deputy noticed the moped did not have a license plate and it had been traveling on a public highway. During a traffic stop, a deputy learned that Bowers does not have a valid driver's license. Bowers was restless and was profusely sweating. In addition, his pupils were dilated. The Indiana native was in possession of 0.8 grams of a white cake-like substance believed to be cocaine. Bauer struggled through field sobriety exercises. He provided breath samples that registered .000. He provided a urine sample upon request. He was arrested on charges of possession of cocaine, driving under the influence, and operating a motorcycle without a license. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on $3,150 bond. A 91-year-old was arrested allegedly striking a woman in the parking lot of a healthcare center. James Lee Hanson of Lady Lake went at about 1 p.m. Wednesday to the village's health medical office on Santa Barbara Boulevard when he got into an argument with a woman who had traveled there with him in a vehicle. The woman told deputies that Hanson hit her with the bottom of his closed fist as she exited the vehicle. He also left her with a golf ball-sized lump on her arm. Good Lord. She's giving you a ride? Never mind. Hanson was arrested on a felony charge of battery and the California. Oh, there you go. California. They're all nuts. Just joking. Hanson was arrested on a felony charge of battery, and a California native was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center where he was initially held without bond. I wonder how many holes in one's a golfer got this week. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. Man, it's been like 3 weeks in a row, a bunch of holes in ones. Let's get started with them. A villager finally found the elusive Holy Grail with his first ever hole-in-one on Easter Sunday. Steve Beaton of the village of Buttonwood scored the lucky ace on March 31st while playing with his Sunday golf group at Yankee Clipper Executive Golf Course. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Steve. A villager had plenty of witnesses when he got his second hole-in-one. Rick Larson got the lucky ace on Monday, April the 8th at hole number 5 at the Volusia Executive Golf Course. He used a pitching wedge and got the hole-in-one at 99 yards from the gold tees. He had a Mizuna yellow ball. Witnesses were his wife, Rochella Larson, and fellow golfers Wade and Lisa Pate. This was the second time in my 71 years that I shot a hole-in-one, Larson said. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Rick. A villager was thrilled to finally get her second hole-in-one. Cheryl Heck of the village of Belvedere scored the lucky ace on Wednesday, April 10th at hole number 9 at the Belmont Executive Golf Course. She previously got a hole-in-one about 20 years ago in Wisconsin. Congratulations on your hole-in-one, Cheryl. A villager got his second lifetime hole-in-one while golfing with his wife and their friends. Mike Sadowski of the village of Sable Chase scored the lucky ace on March 30th at hole number 4 at Bogart Executive Golf Course. He was golfing with his wife, Deb Sadowski, and their friends, Bob and Patty Hedricks. Sadowski got the lucky ace at 94 yards using a gap wedge. Congratulations on your hole-in-one, Mike. Villager Mary Hart was amazed that to get a hole-in-one after only playing golf for 6 months. She scored the lucky ace at the Marsh Bend pitch and putt. My friend captured me walking to the hole and took my pick. I thought it rolled down the hill, but she said no, it went in the hole, said the village of Hawkins resident. Congratulations on your hole-in-one, Marie, or Mary, M-A-R-I-E. Marie. Bonnie Enos got her first hole-in-one at hole number 15 at the Mickey Lee pitch and putt course. Congratulations on your hole-in-one, Bonnie. A villager set to start an upcoming play got his fourth hole-in-one Sunday, April 14th at the Briarwood Executive Golf Course. I like Briarwood. It's just a long way up there for me to drive my golf cart, but I've been there several times. John Pearson, who will appear in the production of Old Hams, scored the lucky ace at hole number 4. Pearson will be having a starring role in the village's theater company's show set for April 26th through the 29th at Mulberry Grove Recreation Center. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, John. How about we do a couple letters to the editor? To the editor, I ignore how frequently they clean the pools at the villages. All I can say is that you have to clean the tiling on the walls frequently. If you fail to do so, grease accumulates and then you see a greasy black spot on the tailing. That's both unhealthy and gross. That's the way the pool is looking right now. It shouldn't be happening. That's sent in by Adriana Sarsinski from the village of Lake Denham. To the editor, I have read a great deal recently about golf carts cutting through Winifred. I have learned in the past when you buy a home, you check out the neighborhood first to make sure you are not on a through traffic area. If you don't like where you purchased, move. You are just lucky that you only deal with golf carts. You should be in Polo Ridge and Summer Hill and put up with not only golf carts cutting through, but probably much more cars from the outside the villages and cutting through our neighborhood. Streets like Oak Forest, Southern Trace, Woodbridge are major roadway cut-throughs, and these cars are going much faster. That's sent in by David Woodcock for the village of Polo Ridge. Real quick, I've warned you about that. I would not buy a house on a cut-through street. Check them out, especially when you go to the new area when all you see is really dirt, and you may not get a good picture where all the roads are going to go, where all the shopping centers are going to go, or anything like that. So if our shopping center is at the end of your street, I'd think twice about it, but that's your money, and it's totally up to you. But just educate yourself. Thanks for watching my news channel, because getting all the different flavors of all the different YouTubers that's here in the villages is important for you to make an informed decision about buying or not buying. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you hitting that like button. I appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. I appreciate you who want to join my Patreon family. Patreons, we're having a great time on our Discord. We're getting all kinds of information out there. We're getting close to our members lunch. Sue sets that up. I don't. So we'll see what's going on with that. But if you're a Patreon member, you will get that invitation. Also on Patreon, everything on there is commercial free. You can join for as little as $2 a month. It goes up from there. I appreciate it so much that you support our channel. Sue and I and the crew, we do a lot of work, and we do appreciate your support. That being said, stay safe, be well, be aware, and for God's sake,
don't leave that key in the golf cart.